Hello, my name is Taylor, and we are going to be talking about how COVID affected our senior year of high school and freshman year of college. With me, I have Tamecia, Daye, and Deven Andrews. The first slide I would like to talk about is contemporary concerns within the high school and freshman year of college. So here I have contemporary concerns being an issue that is happening right now as a society. In high school, a contemporary concern was that I was unable to join a lot of clubs, and we were trying to social distance. So that was one that was a problem for me. And as for my freshman year of college, a problem for me was that visitation was not allowed, and it was limited. Sometimes there was time where my sister would like to come in and probably help me with cleaning or help me with uh, homework, and it made it harder for me to do that. So next we're gonna have Tamisa Day.
Hi. For me, I think my contemporary concern during high school was not being able to go to school and not being able to see my friends the way I wanted to, because I didn't really go outside. I didn't really see my friends outside of school, so that was my only time that I could see them. And then for college, we didn't really have many events during our freshman year, so we didn't really do anything. We mainly just like went to class. We went to class. Some of the classes didn't meet every day, so there was that. And then we like there was just nothing else to do. You kind of just went to class, went back to your dorm, got food, um, and that was pretty much like there was no social interaction very much. Um, then now we'll have Devin.
All right, contemporary concern for me throughout high school. Well, for one, everyone that becomes a senior, ready to graduate, we all have an idea of our senior year. It's our last year, and pretty much it's the year that you have your last memories with your friends that you grew up with. You look forward to going to pep rallies, homecoming games, basketball games, football games. For me, I was a basketball player. I also ran track, so I was involved. I was very involved in high school, so I was looking forward to the homecoming dance, prom, all sorts of things like that. So for me, the concern was not being able to participate in the school activities provided um, my last year. I did not get a chance to go to homecoming or go to prom due to the fact that we had to practice social distancing because of COVID-19. Um, as I transitioned over to college, my contemporary concern, I guess, was um I guess I was just eager to experience what that first year was supposed to be like. And due to the fact that we had the quarantine and then social distance when we got here, uh, it wasn't a true freshman experience. And I guess that was my contemporary concern, just not being able to experience what I would have been able to experience if COVID-19 didn't exist.
Yeah. So for our next slide, prejudice. The definition I have here is a prejudgment based on emotions and past experience about a certain group. For my in high school, a prejudice, a prejudgment of someone or something was Donald Trump. It was kind of it was a person. So person and white people, they were saying that a lot of people were saying like white people didn't really care. It was just really bad because we were arguing more than finding trying to find a solution, especially in my high school. And for college, I didn't really have much problems with prejudice because now that I'm here at HBCU, it wasn't really much of it wasn't really many white people, so I didn't really have the same problem. But I did like maybe like for my family, some like some were like kind of distant from a certain like a type of group. Like for instance, the Chinese fighters here. I have an example. Was I was like my sister was like making fun of the Chinese. I was like, what? Like that's not even like a that's something that Donald Trump made to pick on China because it originated in China. So he automatically thought that Chinese people made the virus. Like, no, that's not it at all. So that was a problem for me in college.
So now it's my turn. So as of prejudice, there wasn't really a change in prejudice between high school and college. There it's always been the same type of level of aggressive like yeah, there's just the same amount of aggressive like energy. But there was a increase in like both like during both high school and college. There's like an increase on hate crimes towards Asian people,
Yeah.
and like which doesn't really make sense. Like there's no like realistic thought behind why it happened. It just kind of people want to blame them for something, blame like the source of the country source of where it happened at. They just want to blame, and which is dumb in my opinion. But um, but there was also an increase in hate crimes towards Black people, as you can see, like like the whole Karen thing, like
Oh
that was
yeah.
yeah that like that's like everywhere now. That's all you see now, and it's just it's I don't think it's changed. It just kind of became more known and like more acceptable.
Yeah.
I can add to that. I believe it's always been around. It's just now it's more open.
Mhm.
Um, so basically, my own definition of someone being prejudiced is basically um, having a biased opinion without actually having a reason
Mhm.
to be biased.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the key events that was going on while I was in high school that carried over to while I was in college that was huge all over the world is what was his name? George Floyd. Was
Mhm.
that his name?
Yes, that was his name.
Uh
Yep, that was him.
yeah. So we all know what happened to him. Uh he was he was pretty much killed for the color of his skin
Mhm.
by a cop, and that affected the world and
Yeah.
society in a way to where people were rioting and doing all kinds of stuff. And I've never had a personal experience with someone being prejudiced towards me, but I have seen it around me, I guess, across the world through social media, and in different communities where that's a huge thing. That's a huge problem going on. But that more so hasn't affected me personally, but I guess it still does um, have an overall effect on, I guess, our race, because at the end of the day, um, those actions are still being committed till this day, and we're just trying to find a way to resolve the issue. It's been going on for
Yeah.
years now, and it's still happening. And no matter how much we riot, no matter how much uh, we try to come together and solve the issue, it's still an issue.
Mhm.
But that's pretty much um, and that pretty much concludes my I guess my prejudice experience.
I would also like to add too, with the Gregory Floyd. That was when that was like in the mix of COVID and then still racial injustice. Because of that
Hmm.
animosity that we had, made the COVID situation worse. Like I feel well, I shouldn't say COVID situation worse, just made prejudice worse because we already had something, and then we continue to have it. So I definitely do want to say that was definitely a big uh issue as well.
And
Mm.
and I personally didn't have nothing against my man Trump. It's just a lot of people, uh Caucasian people, white people, felt that they because he was in the position of power at that time. I guess white people felt as if they had the authority to make those actions. I mean, to display those actions towards us without any sort of, I guess, what's the word?
Repercussions, like
Yeah,
consequences.
Oh,
I'm not big on politics. That's why I don't really get into Trump and was he good or was he not good or anything like that. But I do know when he did become president, that's when all hell broke loose. And
Yeah, it's. I think it's because like like his ideas and what he like said like during his rallies and whatnot, like what he said during his like rallies were like it mirrored what those people wanted. Like it mirrored like he was like their like propaganda. Like he was like their
yeah, definitely.
um like quote
yeah,
king, you know, like
that's
they're
what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say. Yeah,
like he like shared their ideas so they felt like they could do whatever they wanted without any type of consequences.
yeah,
Yeah.
Hence the raid on the Capitol.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that was a very good conversation. I would love to have that again at a later
Yeah, like
time.
yeah.
So the next one that we are going to be talking about is social influence. Social influence is when our thoughts, feelings, and behavior change because of social pressure from the world. For high school, let's see, my social influence was definitely mask wearing. Immediately after they affected, like they have us wear masks, everybody was wearing masks. Now, well, some sort of face covering. I shouldn't say mask because I actually had this kid that came in wearing a mask as like a duck mask, like a costume.
Oh.
So yeah, it was definitely a social influence of wearing some sort of face covering. And then for college, a social influence that I would have is online classes. Once I started online class in like kind of high school transitioning to college, I that's all I would hear about. That's all I would see. And that's really mostly where most of my stress came from in school was because of having an online class. Because I was unable to ask questions. I was unable to do a lot of things is what I did. But because this affected our society as a whole, it was definitely something hard to. It was really hard to transition for me.
um I guess for I would just like well instead of like going like saying something about all of like high school and college, I would say just about the pandemic.
Yeah.
During the pandemic, like you know, like the app TikTok,
Yeah.
that
Oh
just
yes.
skyrocketed.
Yeah, I know.
um, and then based off of TikTok, like the you know like how people dress on TikTok,
Yes.
that you see that a lot now. Like you see like trendy like people trend like clothing brands trending or like clothing style trending,
Yep.
and then like you also see like the idea of beauty, like the definition of beauty has
Oh yeah.
also shifted
Yeah.
during the pandemic. Like you see for example you know like Lizzo,
Yes, I love her.
like her, I love her too. Like she like I wouldn't say like she's like the standard now, but like she's pushing to be the standard, you know, like she's
Yes.
like the what's it called um what's it called? Oh, body positivity. Yes,
Yes,
that.
I know. Yes.
Like we're not just like talking about like seeing people who are just skinny and skinny females and then like muscular guys. We're not just seeing that anymore. Like that's not the ideal. Like that's not realistic, and people are starting to see that more.
Yes.
And so that I think because people are seeing that more, it's starting to shift the definition of beauty or like how like how we see what beauty is. And I love that.
Me too. I do too. I do too.
Also,
Uh,
I will, huh?
oh, go ahead. You go ahead.
I was just saying that I know this isn't really like a social influence, but like I kind of like I kind of want to talk about this a little bit because it's like so during COVID, people are quarantining in with their like significant other. Like there's gonna be a lot of babies that's gonna come out of this pandemic,
Yep.
and like population is gonna rise dramatically.
Yes.
And
Yep.
I don't know what's gonna
Oh,
happen when that
that's
happens.
already happening. We already know
Yeah.
about that.
I have a new.
For,
I have
for
a new niece
real,
right now. I just got a new niece.
right?
Yep.
And then I got a niece too.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
Uh, one of the one of the biggest things I think that's an influence today that really carried over from high school to now college. Well, that I'm experiencing and that we're all experiencing worldwide is the influence or pressure to get the vaccine to get
Mhm.
vaccinated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, my whole thing with the vaccine, I'm not anti-vaccine. I believe in vaccines. We had to get vaccinated in order to go to school, the
Yeah.
public school.
Right.
Yep.
But it's this COVID-19 vaccine that's bothering me a little bit. I mean,
That's
Yeah.
fair.
first of all, it's I haven't I personally haven't been vaccinated. I will eventually have to get vaccinated because I joined the military and it's now mandated for every soldier to be to be
Mm,
vaccinated.
Yes.
I
mm,
personally don't like that. It's because I know people who got vaccinated and is still getting the virus.
Yes.
And it's the virus, it is so many different strands of it out there. I think it got up to 7 different strands.
hmm.
And then the Delta variant came out. So it's like, what's the point of getting vaccinated if you gonna get the disease? Like that's just my whole thing. Like I'm wasting my time getting vaccinated if I'm gonna get it anyway.
Yeah. No. That's definitely a social influence, and not only that, that is also a contemporary concern. Um, I got my first vaccine shot not too long ago, and
Hmm.
I realized that the vaccine is not a like it just released like drops your risk down, because if you don't have a vaccine, then you're at higher risk. If you do have a vaccine, then you have a lower risk of getting it, but you can still get it. That's definitely a concern, and that's also a social influence, because a lot of people are just as much as questioning about the vaccine. So I definitely do agree with that. I definitely
Right. I know. For me, I got vaccinated when the school was giving out vaccinations, like over there by
yeah.
I don't know what building that is, but it's like
The
across
graduate
the
yeah, I know
street.
what yeah, the
Yeah,
graduation center. Yeah.
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 So I will say like one thing about the vaccine is that like I know like a lot of like people of color are like specifically Black people are like very like skeptical about it because of the Tuskegee um it's like I don't know how to pronounce it, but this Tuskegee thing that happened. Like they like basically they y'all know what that is, right?
What?
The Tuskegee vaccine. Like it wasn't like vaccine, but you know, it was I, for- yeah, the syphilis project, yes.
Yeah.
Basically like I don't remember like during what time this was. I think it was like maybe like the 80s, like
Yeah.
70s, right?
Yeah. That's
Um
right.
so like basically like they just gave like all these Black people
Yep.
syphilis
Mhm.
trying to find a cure for it, I assume. Or that's what it says.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. No, that's actually another reason why I was reluctant to getting the vaccine, because we were tested. We were
Do,
literally tested on
do,
it with medication.
do y'all know how long on average does it take to create an actual vaccine?
Longer than what
Yeah.
longer than it took for this. I know that for sure.
Look, bro, that COVID-19 came out like what last year, the year before last.
Well,
So that's like
it came out like the ending of 2019, and then you start seeing it in like all in like different states and continents during 2020.
So they had about a year and a half to work on this so-called vaccine, but it on average it takes about, because all the other vaccines we took were actual vaccines,
Five to
for
6 years.
the
Yeah.
chicken pox
Right.
and all that. It took about 10 to 15 years to create them vaccines. 10 to 15 on average. So you mean to tell me you want? I feel like us as people, we're experiments. I'm not about to be no
I
experiment for
mean,
nobody, but you feel me?
I will say,
Not not through my own will. Now I'm
right.
eventually be forced to get it, but you feel me? I mean,
I will
I
say,
forgot what was it. I forgot what was in the vaccine that they saw tested against the COVID. I mean, help fight against the COVID-19. But I don't know, bro. It's that vaccine is just iffy. I don't
yeah,
I don't know.
I would like. It's
It gives me the wrong
understandable.
vibe.
It's understandable, why you say I understand that completely. But like the reason why I got it is because for one, they were giving it out for free. I don't have to pay like $200 for it. And also like it's just like might as well get it now because like if the vaccine doesn't take you out, COVID will eventually. Like why would you rather try to fight it or would you just take your chances? That was my thought process behind it.
Hmm.
That is definitely a risk.
And,
That is definitely a
yeah,
risk, and that also that question is that question is around the world in the society. So I will also relate that back to
yeah,
contemporary concern because of that untrust that the government and the healthcare system has created. Like
yeah.
I would take the chance. Only reason why is because I had COVID before. It was not cool. I would
Mm,
not. Yeah, I would not. I wouldn't take your chances. I would go ahead and just go ahead and get that shot. And yeah, I mean, but at the same time, I do understand what you're saying because we don't really know. I
But
mean, it's out
that's
there.
again where everybody's
The ingredients is out
experience with
there.
COVID is different. Because I mean, I had COVID, but I'm assuming we had two different strands of COVID.
Yeah,
I'm
probably so.
assuming that
That's true.
that
yeah,
your experience was extreme. Mine wasn't so much, but I hear that all the time. You got people dying every day over COVID, and then you got people who get it and they get maybe like they lose like taste for 2 days or something.
Yeah, I didn't.
Maybe you have
for
like diarrhea or something, and then
Yeah,
they're done. You
yeah.
feel me?
yeah.
For
So
me, when
I
I
don't.
had COVID, I was like asymptomatic. Like I didn't have any type of symptoms at all. I would just live in. And then so I was like really
That's what I'm
confused.
saying. That's
Like,
why.
okay.
Yeah, I was like, people really dying over this, like,
Yeah,
but
Like
that was
it's
I
me.
didn't feel anything.
That was me.
it's different strands out there. We got lucky and didn't catch the most extreme one. So
Right.
Yeah.
um, I don't know. It's definitely a conversational piece.
Yep.
But
Oh yeah, for sure. COVID
anyway,
will always be
that
a
concludes my.
conversation.
You said what?
I said COVID will always be a conversation. Like
I know for
this is
real.
not going
Yeah.
away. Like this,
Mhm.
like talking about would never go away.
I know it won't. It won't. It changed our society for the long haul. Like
It
Oh yeah,
this
for
changed
this is
sure.
history.
everything. Yeah.
This is the new influenza outbreak.
For real.
Yeah.
Spanish flu.
Yeah. Chicken pox. But yeah.
Right.
But yeah, no, very nice, you guys. That concludes our presentation on how COVID affected us in our senior and freshman year of college. It's been great. Yeah. So my
Good
name's
job,
Skylar.
everybody.
Huh?
I said good job, everybody.
Yeah, good job. Good job. My
Good
name's
job.
Skylar. We have here Tamecia, Daye, and Deven Andrews. And let us know in the comments what you think about it, and give us some questions. We love to talk about it more. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right.